Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is a bit different. We're analyzing structure, specifically the strategic framework that's laid out in the table of contents of this source document we got our hands on. It's a huge missionary toolkit, and it's focused entirely on, well, modern digital outreach strategy.
Yeah, it's quite something.
And what we
If there.
found, honestly, it's less like a guide for traditional evangelism and more like a military-grade business plan for digital marketing. It's pretty intense.
Well, that's a good way to put it.
The clarity, the depth, it really shows how organizations trying to pursue, traditional outreach goals have been forced into this massive transformation. They've fully adopted high-level marketing, advanced SEO, ruthless data analysis. It's all in there.
Exactly. And I think for you, the listener, the real value here isn't necessarily the subject matter itself, the missionary angle, but the sheer strategic pipeline laid out. We're looking at the essential steps, the concepts you absolutely need to succeed in any large-scale digital campaign. It doesn't matter if you're selling software or political ideas or, well, deeply held beliefs.
It's a universal blueprint almost.
It really is.
Yeah.
A complete roadmap. It takes you from the big picture, defining the mission philosophically, all the way down to mastering like the super technical bits of web optimization.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We should probably start with that foundational shift you mentioned. The high-level strategy stuff that grounds the whole toolkit. It basically says the old ways, well, they're done.
Oh, it doesn't pull any punches at all.
Yeah.
The very first strategic heading is literally the shifting paradigm of missionary outreach.
Right there at the top.
Yep. This isn't presented as an evolution. It's framed as a forced migration. These organizations get at traditional face-to-face methods. They're just not working as well, or maybe they're geographically impossible now.
So digital isn't just another tool in the box.
Not anymore. It's the required operational foundation. The toolkit implies their whole organizational structure basically has to mirror an e-commerce company now just to get basic attention online.
And straight away, right after acknowledging that shift, the framework pivots hard to something you'd see in any marketing plan, defining your digital mission and target audience. Now, if the core message is supposed to be universal, why does the toolkit insist on investing so much effort in narrow segmentation? Doesn't that dilute the whole point, targeting specific demographics?
That's where the cold, hard mechanics of the digital world really clash with maybe more traditional ideals.
How so?
Because in the realm of Google search, of social media feeds, universal broadcasting, it's just not feasible. Financially, yes, but also just attention-wise. People's attention is scarce, it's fragmented.
So you have to segment.
You have to. The toolkit forces the user, the organization, to define exactly who they're trying to reach by age, location, maybe even specific intellectual or emotional pain points they might have. Because that definition, it dictates everything that comes next.
Okay, so it's not just helpful for focus, it's actually mandatory for the system to work.
It's the critical first filter.
Oof.
Absolutely mandatory. If you don't know who you're talking to, how can you possibly choose the right platform? Or create the right kind of content? Or, crucially, pick the key words that connect their curiosity to your message.
Keywords. We'll get to those later, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, without that target audience definition, you're just shouting into the void. You're essentially trying to commercialize curiosity by anticipating what specific groups are searching for or asking about.
Which flows perfectly into the next big strategic decision point in the toolkit, choosing the right digital platforms for your mission.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it suggests the platform choice is directly tied back to that audience segment they just spent time defining.
Precisely. And this isn't just, should we be on Facebook? It's deeper. It's the difference between choosing like a digital megaphone versus choosing a digital handshake.
What do you mean by that?
Well, a strategy that works for, say, high-impact, short, disappearing videos on TikTok is just fundamentally incompatible with the kind of long-form index content you need for a serious website, one designed for people looking for deep information.
Different tools for different jobs.
Exactly. The toolkit implies that outreach success really hinges on aligning that audience profile, the content format you create, and the specific mechanics of the platform you choose. You can't, for example, deliver a complex YouTube-style argument on a platform built for 15-second visual hits. It just won't land.
That structural separation. First define the who, then define the where. It feels very disciplined, highly structured.
It is.
Okay, so strategy set, audience defined, platforms chosen. Now we move into actually building things, the infrastructure. The very next section is building a strong online presence, website development.
And this is framed as completely non-negotiable because the website, think of it as the digital Vatican, right?
Right.
It's the organization's own sovereign territory online.
Ah, okay. Digital Vatican. I like that.
It's that stable point of reference. It's protected, hopefully, from the shifting policies and the algorithmic chaos you get on social platforms.
Right. You own the land there.
You own the land. It's the permanent digital headquarters. It's the single place where all that traffic you generate elsewhere, from social, from search, wherever, is ultimately routed, curated, and ideally converted into some kind of measurable action. Social media channels in this model are just outposts.
Outposts designed to funnel people back to the main base.
Exactly. They attract and redirect traffic back to the central website.
Okay. And a central headquarters, a digital Vatican, needs a deliberate supply chain, which brings us right to content. The next chapter title is very specific: Content Creation and Strategy for Digital Outreach. It doesn't just say make some posts, it demands a strategy. Why is that distinction so important here?
Oh, it's monumental. Because content strategy implies a rigorous, planned editorial process. Not just random updates, but a continuous, planned output.
Like a media publication.
Pretty much. It means defining the major goals for your content. Is this piece designed to inform? Think long-form articles, deep resources. Is it designed to engage, like social media conversation starters, questions? Or is it designed ultimately to convert? A clear call to action. Sign up here, learn more here.
So every single piece needs a job.
Yes. The toolkit basically demands that every piece of content you create has to serve a specific, measurable strategic purpose. And that purpose has to link back to the overall mission and the target audience you defined earlier.
Wow. That really elevates the skill set required, doesn't it? You're not just looking for someone who can write nice things. You're looking for like a digital editor-in-chief.
That is absolutely correct. And you see this need emphasized even more when the toolkit tackles social media specifically. It actually dedicates separate sections. First to choosing the right social media platforms.
Which we already touched on, linking it to audience.
Right. But then separately, it has a whole section on creating engaging social media content.
Huh. At first glance, that seems a bit repetitive. Why split those? Why the dual focus specifically on social?
I think the dual focus really highlights the tactical complexity involved.
Yeah.
That first choice, which platform? That's demographic, it's strategic, tied to the who. But the second choice, how do we actually engage people on that specific platform? That's tactical, that's creative.
I see.
What's fascinating, and what the toolkit clearly recognizes, is that successful digital outreach needs tailored content. Content that feels native to the platform it's on.
Generic stuff doesn't work.
Generic stuff fails. What kills it on Instagram looks totally different from what works on, say, Twitter or maybe a niche online forum. So that's structural division in the toolkit. It shows you have to design a specific content pipeline for each unique channel, understanding its unique audience behaviors and expectations.
This is sounding less and less like traditional spiritual guidance and much more like designing a full-stack media company from the ground up.
Structurally.
Yeah.
It's pretty much indistinguishable from the launch strategy of any modern disruptive brand trying to capture market share.
Okay, now here's where, for me, it gets really interesting and where let's call it the full commercialization of the strategy becomes just undeniable. We move from the strategy and content creation into the engine room.
Technical optimization.
Exactly. SEO, search engine optimization. It takes up 5 distinct, dedicated sections in this toolkit. 5. That signals it's absolutely central, completely non-negotiable.
Well, think about it. The battleground online is visibility. In the digital economy, if Google and other search engines can't find you, then your message, no matter how profound or important you think it is, effectively doesn't exist.
You're invisible.
Completely. So the sheer weight given to SEO in this framework, it confirms the highest priority is satisfying the algorithms first. You have to please the machine before you can reach the person.
And the framework starts right at the beginning, logically enough, with understanding SEO fundamentals and keywords. Let's talk about keywords for a second. In this context, they're like the ultimate bridge, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Connecting what the audience is actually curious about, what they're literally typing into a search bar, with the organization's specific message or answer.
It is, you could say, the commercialization of human questioning. The search engine acts like an oracle of intent.
An oracle of intent. Powerful.
Yeah. If you can figure out, anticipate the questions your specific target audience is asking. Could be simple definitions, could be deep philosophical stuff, could be searching for local help. And if you can map those questions precisely to your high-quality content, you capture that visibility, that organic traffic.
So it's empathy, but guided by data.
That's a great way to put it. Empathy guided by data. And then the toolkit just dives deep into the technical mastery required. Let's start with the stuff they can actually control directly. That falls under on-page optimization. There's a whole section, on-page optimization techniques for missionary websites. This covers everything the organization does within its own digital headquarters, its website.
Like what, specifically?
Things like the site internal architecture, how fast the pages load, the overall site structure, making sure images are tagged correctly, the internal linking, how pages connect to each other, basically ensuring the site is easy for search bots to crawl and understand.
So making sure your digital house is structurally sound and perfectly labeled.
Exactly. Clean, organized, easy to navigate for the machines.
And then comes the harder part, maybe. Convincing the rest of the internet that your house is worth visiting. That's off-page optimization.
Right. And look at the title they use. Off-page optimization. Building backlinks and authority. That wording is key.
Authority.
Authority. It confirms that online credibility and external validation, that's authority, are absolute necessities for outreach success. You can't just say you're important, others have to say it too.
How does that work in practice? Backlinks.
Backlinks are essentially digital votes of confidence, links pointing to your website from other established, reputable websites in related fields.
So it's not enough to just create great content on your own site.
Nope. You also have to engage in what amounts to active digital public relations. You need to earn that external validation, maybe through media mentions, partnerships, collaborations, getting cited. Without those external signals, the search algorithms simply won't trust your message as much, no matter how good your content actually is.
So are we talking about organizations actively, like, lobbying other websites for links? That sounds less like pure outreach and more like strategic PR campaigning.
It's exactly that. It's proactive digital relationship building and campaigning, all designed to establish what's called domain authority. And what's really telling is that this whole SEO process, on-page, off-page, it's not treated as a one-time setup. It's framed as a continuous loop, measurement and adjustment. The toolkit includes a section called Analyzing SEO Performance and Making Data-Driven Decisions.
Wow. Okay, that insertion right there shows a level of commitment to metrics, to accountability. You expect that from a publicly traded company analyzing its quarterly results, right? Not necessarily a traditional outreach program.
It underscores the idea that the entire framework is treated almost like a scientific experiment. You can't just hope it's working, you have to rely on data. Which content pieces are actually resonating? Which keywords are bringing in the right kind of traffic? Where are people leaving the site?
So optimization is constant.
It's a continuous metric-driven necessity. The implication is, if you don't measure your conversion rates, whatever conversion means in your context, you can't actually justify the ongoing investment in all this digital machinery.
And just to really hammer home the technical depth, the final SEO section we see listed is titled Advanced SEO Techniques for Missionary Outreach. What does advanced imply here? Are they really expecting practitioners to become, like, coding experts?
They are absolutely raising the technical bar very high. An advanced section like that would likely cover sophisticated methods. Things like international SEO, maybe ensuring the message is correctly translated and indexed for different countries and languages. And almost certainly it would cover something called schema markup.
Okay, wait, let's pause on that one. Schema markup. That sounds very specific. For the listener who isn't, deep in web development, what does that actually do in this strategic framework? Why is it advanced?
Think of a schema markup as, like adding special invisible labels to your website's content, specifically for the search engines.
Invisible labels.
Yeah, it's code you add that instantly tells the machine, hey, this piece of text is a date, or this paragraph is a direct quote from this specific source, or this is the street address for an upcoming event. It explicitly defines the type of content.
So it removes ambiguity for the algorithm.
Precisely. It helps the search engine instantly categorize your information. Is it a person, place, event, doctrine, contact info? Which means the algorithm can trust it and potentially prioritize it much faster than just plain generic text. It's the difference between hoping the machine figures out your context and explicitly coding your context for maximum visibility.
That's demanding true technical fluency then, not just writing skills.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's pull back. We've walked through the whole structure, from mission definition to advanced code. What does this entire analysis of the toolkit structure really mean? If we summarize the overall lesson, it seems like modern outreach, or maybe delivering any large-scale message today, is fundamentally a hybrid discipline.
I think that's exactly right.
You need that high-level, almost executive marketing strategy. You need serious web development chops. You need continuous data analysis skills. And you need sophisticated technical SEO just to get baseline visibility, just to be heard at all.
That is the essential lesson baked into this structure. The framework systematically moves the practitioner through every single necessary stage. You start with abstract strategic planning, who's the audience, what's the core mission. Then you build the digital infrastructure, the website. Then you master content creation and distribution. Then you dive deep into advanced technical SEO. And finally, you use performance data to create continuous feedback loops for ongoing optimization.
It's a complete modern campaign management system, start to finish.
Absolutely.
And one more thing. Crucially, the toolkit structure makes sure this knowledge isn't just theoretical, right? It includes specific sections at the end for resources and tools, and a very clear call to action.
Yes, that's important.
It ensures that all this theory has to be immediately followed by practical application, by clear, measurable next steps. It's about doing, not just knowing.
Exactly. And I think for you, the listener, the ultimate takeaway here is that the mechanism of information delivery, of gaining attention online, has become remarkably uniform. The strategic pipeline required to deliver, say, faith-based outreach, according to this toolkit, it's functionally identical to the pipeline needed to launch a new software product or to push a policy initiative.
The underlying mechanics are the same, regardless of the message.
The mechanics are the same. And that leaves us with perhaps a provocative closing thought to consider.
Okay, let's hear it.
If the successful spread, the dissemination of any deeply held belief, whatever it might be, is now fundamentally reliant on mastering the foundational mechanisms of the web, on keywords, on technical site architecture, on domain authority, on things like schema markup. What does that tell us? What does it reveal about who, or maybe what, are the real gatekeepers of truth and attention in our modern digital age? It suggests the messenger, regardless of their conviction, must first satisfy the machine, just to earn the right to speak to the human mind.